The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lord. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now, your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Walker, and Kyle Yeomans.
It is a Victory Monday here on Talkin Cowboys, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, live from the Star in Frisco and the SWBC studios. The Cowboys get their fifth win of the 2022 campaign, improved to 5-2 as they take down the Detroit Lions. 24-6, the final score from AT&T Stadium. Alongside Patrik "No-See" Walker, Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Yeomans with Chris Beam as always. Gentlemen, it's another Victory Monday, and it's oh so sweet when you can get a home win in the NFL, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's fantastic. Cowboys are sitting at 5-2, bounced back nicely, especially defensively, coming off of not a bad game against Philadelphia, but a little bit of a step back as far as the elite play that we've been seeing from them on a week-to-week basis. Absolutely teed off on golf, pun intended, and that helped settle in Dak Prescott and the Cowboys offense in the second half. So
that was subtle.
Absolutely loved. Hey,
that was subtle. I liked it.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Like
so I absolutely love it.
Nance was on the call.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, the voice of the Masters. Or I guess not. Yeah, he does do the Masters, doesn't he?
He does.
He does a lot of different stuff.
Golf.
Yeah, CBS golf. You're a big golf guy, Isaiah.
Definitely not.
Yeah?
No, they got the dub. That's all that matters at the end of the day. I personally didn't like how it happened, but I know we'll get into that as the show goes on. Ultimately, all that matters is that you walk away with a W. Doesn't matter how ugly, how pretty, how whatever it is. You're one win closer to. Actually, you needed that win because what the rest of the division did. So that was an important win as well.
Everybody that played yesterday in the NFC East won.
Yep.
And the only team that didn't win is already the only undefeated team in the NFL, and they were on a bye week. So, I mean, you needed to win to keep pace. And you did so. You were supposed to win this football game.
Yes,
we said it on Friday. Everybody said it. You needed to win this football game. Sure, the Lions come in with the number 3 rated offense in the NFL, a top total offense in the league, and they put up some numbers, and they've got some pieces defensively. But paper v. paper, you're supposed to win this football game, and ultimately you did.
Yeah, absolutely. A credit to the Detroit Lions, and we've said this each week, and we said this going into this game, it's a scrappy bunch under Dan Campbell. It is a scrappy bunch, and Cowboys fans, you got reminded of it in the first half, particularly with Aiden Hutchinson. Hey, Aiden, I'm sorry. I guess you tuned into Talking Cowboys and heard me say you wouldn't get a sack. Because he went out and got two.
Way to go, freaking
A. Two. But you know what?
That's what we're here for is bulletin board material.
But Aiden Hutchinson, he won his battles more often than not against Tyler Smith in the pass attack. But then you saw Dan Campbell move Hutchinson over to the opposite side, and then he beat Terrence Steele at least once. But in the run game, both Tyler Smith and Terrence Steele did perform well. Struggled in the pass game, though, and Aiden Hutchinson was able to get those 2 sacks. But to the Cowboys' credit, be it adjustments or whatever the case may be after the half, you didn't really hear from Aiden Hutchinson over the course of the third and fourth quarter. So the Cowboys came out, and we talk a lot about, and we've talked a lot about this when it comes to the Cowboys just over the past few seasons. And what's typically been the case is their consistent inability to adapt at the half and come out consistently powerful in the third and then force it over to the fourth quarter. We've seen them get better with that in the third quarter. We saw it again against Detroit. They really came out and just basically owned the third quarter. But then the question was, can they keep this, the foot to the accelerator and the accelerator to the floor in the fourth? slowed down just a little bit on the back end of the third quarter, but they picked it right back up. That defense, it's lights out. 5 takeaways. You're talking about 2 interceptions between Trevon Diggs and Jordan Lewis. 3 more forced fumble and fumble recoveries. And I love how Diggs set the tone with his interception to start the third quarter because they needed it. They were, 6-3, I believe, at the half. Everybody's like, well, what's going on? Defense is like, okay, we got you. So then the question was, okay, Dak, defense got you. They got you this takeaway. What can you do with it? Oh, okay, well, lo and behold, the Cowboys remembered that they have Ezekiel Elliott back there, and they use Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard to just ram the ball down Jared Goff's throat, pun intended. And they ended up getting the touchdown on that one. The Cowboys' biggest takeaway for me is the Cowboys' offense gained 3 touchdowns off of 3 of the 5 takeaways from the defense. That's how you win games.
Yeah. So you mentioned you don't like how it got there.
Yeah.
I don't think you're alone in that fact. Okay. There's a lot of Cowboys Nation that is.
We almost wrestled yesterday in the studio.
You and I got we got after it a little bit.
Oh,
yeah. We got after it a little bit.
I put the hat on backwards, like over the top. I was ready to go.
Was it going to be Greco-Roman style?
Yeah,
or WWE.
And I understand your side of things because you're a player and you want to look at how to improve.
Yeah.
Just because you don't win or just because you win the football game doesn't mean you were perfect.
Your work's not done.
Your work is not done at all. And if you play like you did yesterday against the Detroit Lions in the future, you're going to lose games.
Yes.
You're going to lose to good teams.
Yes.
You didn't lose yesterday because you played the Lions. But there were good things to take away too.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of where I'm at. And you win the football game and you do it in a dominant way. I thought the defense played really well. Really well.
Yeah.
Yes.
6 points, 5 takeaways. Yes. I know a lot of that came in the fourth quarter, but when do you need to play your best football? In the fourth quarter. So that's kind of where I'm at too with the defense. But I'm interested to see your thoughts on how you didn't like this win, kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
I don't want to put words in your mouth by any means.
No, the kind of. I mean, so let's look at this. What do we know that Detroit was going to come out and do after watching the Philadelphia film?
Be physical and run the football.
Be physical and run the football. How was that working for them in the first half? Pretty doggone good, would you say?
Decent.
No, it wasn't decent. It was doggone good.
They didn't find the end zone, though. That's my thing.
Okay, so put it like this. So let's go back to that. Okay, let's go back to that. Now, first of all, let me lay this out there. The Dallas Cowboys got the W. I'm just going to say that out there, okay? I come from the player standpoint, and the player standpoint is, yes, the things that you do good, you're supposed to do good, and I'm always looking for the things that we can improve upon. That's always my outlook. That's just me as a human being. I don't pat myself on the back in life for things that I'm supposed to do. I go look for the things that I can improve upon. That's me. That's me as a player, human, all that. Let me lay that out there. Okay, now, let's move forward. The Detroit Lions came out there and were more physical, especially in the first half, yes?
Yes.
They got after him.
They got after him.
Talk about the defense flying in
there, right?
Take it out.
I was pointing out to you in the studio how they were shooting at the knees of absolutely everybody.
Is that a dirty play?
Not at all.
Dirty?
No. Where else can you tackle nowadays?
You can't go high.
You can't go high, right? So, so that's what you do. So I relate that to the time when I was playing back in the day in Troy Polamalu and the Pittsburgh Steelers. They all tackle like that. They run full speed. They shoot all their body weight and their shoulder at your kneecap. You're going to either move sideways and get hit by somebody else, or you're going to get hit by them. One of the two, unless you're Ezekiel Elliott and you hop over people. Okay, that's how you tackle. So they were more physical on defense. They were more physical on offense. When we go back to the first half and everybody's like, oh, well, the defense balled out. In the second half, when Detroit had to abandon their strategy and their game plan, absolutely. That's what we expect our defense to do. Any team that has to drop back and pass against this defense, you're going to lose. Mm-hmm. I don't care who you are. If you have to drop back and throw the ball and rely on your pass to win you a ball game, it's probably not going to work out that well against the Dallas Cowboys.
No.
Because their defensive front and their front seven is just absolutely nasty. It's a last resort in terms of an offensive strategy, okay? But their tight end, I don't know how you don't score on that. Heck of a play by Micah Parsons.
That's why.
That's
why you don't.
Yeah,
play.
but your piece. Just as from the player standpoint, if I'm that close to the end zone, what am I doing with the ball?
You're
diving.
Okay, thank you very much. So amazing play by Micah Parsons. Not taking anything away from him. He's the reason why you're in a position to be able to create a turnover on the following play. But from that tight end's perspective, that should have been a touchdown.
Sure.
I'm just gonna lay it out there. It should have been a touchdown.
And I'm not saying you're wrong.
Okay,
he He didn't know the lion was behind.
Absolutely. Hey, regardless of the line or not, if I have people in pursuit, I'm diving across the end zone.
You're not wrong. I'm just simply saying he didn't
Absolutely.
know the lion.
Really quickly before we move on, though, I went back and watched all 22 today.
I know you do.
Oh my gosh, that Micah Parsons has made a couple of plays in his career that are just jaw-dropping.
Eye-popping.
This might have been my favorite ever.
Pure effort.
Ever. This is just go back and watch it. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
I'm not saying go buy NFL Plus or whatever. We'll say that on the reads later. Go look at this. Find a way to get it. If it's on Twitter, take it. Micah Parsons is 7 yards behind this tight end and has a guy in between. And he catches him within 20 yards. We were talking last week about how many strides Patrik would beat me on in a 40. And it's like, oh, well, a 40
Micah would destroy you.
40 is Micah would destroy anybody.
Yeah, right.
That play was unbelievable.
He got up to, I think Next Gen put it at almost 21 miles per hour.
That's crazy.
He's a physical specimen, but his relentlessness, all right, and his willingness to go and stay in pursuit at all given times. No matter if he's getting cut, no matter if he's on the backside of a play, he's going to continue to pursue. So super kudos to him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the reason why this defense is doing what they're doing, right? He's one of the main reasons. So super credit to him in terms of going out there and making that play. But in reality, that dude should have scored a touchdown.
Sure.
But he didn't. So you go on to the next play. What happened on that next play? D-Law did a heck of a job getting vertical and creating some mayhem back
Blew it
there.
up.
But that's not supposed to happen either.
Speaking of inhuman plays, if you go back and watch that all 22, we talked about Micah. Go look at what Tank did.
Blew up 3 guys.
No, D-Law had a heck of a game. In my opinion, that's his best game.
He was really
in my
good.
opinion, that's his best game.
You
really good.
You blank you.
Absolutely.
You're cool.
Yeah, he knew. Hey, he understood the assignment.
Yes.
He understood the assignment. So, hey, kudos to D-Law on that play. Those 2 plays, in my opinion, as a player, that's not supposed to happen, right? Those are errors by the players on Detroit side. Oh, well, right? They happen, okay? Oh, well, they happen. That was the turning of the game because had the first play, the tight end play, would have been a touchdown, Detroit Lions are able to stay in their strategy and stay by running the ball on the ground. Because they didn't go to the second half, now you have a terrible ball by Jared Goff on a play where Trayvon Diggs was actually beat.
Yep.
He was beat. It's much like the play last year against the New York Giants, where it was just he was beat and it was a bad ball, underthrown. He makes an amazing play. It wasn't an interception. If they replayed it, because the ball, he trapped it, but still amazing play. Still amazing play to even make it even a speculation of whether or not it was a catch or not.
I don't think he was beat as bad as you're intending. The receiver had the sideline. Reynolds had the sideline, and Goff threw it thinking the sideline would be there. And then Reynolds didn't adjust to the ball well. And Trayvon Diggs tracked that ball well and turned around and made a fantastic
I'm taking nothing away from
too.
Trayvon's ability to track the ball, make a play on the ball, and make it even questionable whether or not he caught it or not. It was a terrible ball by Goff. Let's be honest there. It was a terrible ball by Goff. It is what it is. Had the ball been where it was supposed to be, that would have been a big play for them offensively. So when I'm watching film, I look at it for the what ifs. Now, the reality is Trayvon made a heck of a play. The reality is Goff threw a bad ball, and you expect Goff to make bad throws from time to time. Correct. So that is the reality, but I'm always looking at it had those plays turned out the way that they were intended to go based upon what took place, this is a totally different ball game, and I'm not sure that Detroit is in a position where they then now have to drop back and pass the ball and allow those goons for Dallas to come do what they do. Because I think that they would have stuck with the running game and been efficient like they were efficient by averaging over 4.5 yards per rush.
Well, here's my problem. My problem is, bottom line is, if ifs were fifths, we'd all be drunk. We'd all be drunk.
Yeah.
Okay.
I drink water though.
Right, and you make a point that
I'd rather the latter.
Right. You know, it goes great with a Black Rifle.
Black Rifle coffee, yeah.
Miller Lite. My thing is this, and you made several valid points. So let me kind of pull one out and kind of thread it out from there. You mentioned that the Lions were put in a position, or the Lions kind of got away from the run and put themselves in a position, be it errors or whatever the case may be, where they kind of had to get away from what was working.
Correct.
Well, that was because the Cowboys forced them to make those mistakes and put themselves in that position. Okay. Like, they didn't just say, well, I'm going to go out and I'm going to fumble on the 1 yard line.
Nobody can.
Right, so it goes back to scheme versus personnel. Who has the better personnel? The Cowboys have the better personnel, and their personnel, be it Michael Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, shout out to Sam Williams. we have to mention Sam Williams.
He was great.
Well.
He's a beast.
Just a breakout game. Fantastic. And it goes back to kind of what Dorrance Armstrong said to me a couple weeks or so ago. He said everybody on the defense is the him. We saw another him yesterday, Sam Williams, right? This Cowboys defense has kind of lived on bend, don't break, which I think is what Kyle was going to kind of allude to. Okay. So in allowing because you didn't stop it, and allowing some of those gainers on the ground, Cowboys were basically saying, okay, you can have that, but show me what you're going to do in the red zone. When it came time to get closer to the red zone, personnel and the differentiation between elite personnel and okay versus or bad personnel, that's where it shows up. I think you can agree. In the red zone more than any other part of the field. Micah Parsons, that play where he chased down the tight end from back end, that's elite personnel versus okay personnel. Because if it was elite versus elite, an elite tight end, George Kittle, Travis Kelce, they would have dove.
Even if it was Hockenson.
Right. They would have dove.
He would have dove too.
Right. But they didn't.
Yeah.
So, Micah Parsons, there you go. Exactly. You get down on the 1 yard line, you got to run the ball, and all you got to do is punch it in. Here's the problem. Okay personnel versus elite personnel in DeMarcus Lawrence. Goodbye to you, goodbye to you, goodbye to you. You're okay, goodbye to you. Give me the fumble.
I don't disagree.
So, and then it forced Jared Goff into exactly what we wanted Jared Goff to be forced into. Now you have to win the game with your arm.
Absolutely.
And we don't believe that you can.
No.
So I believe you're accurate in that the Lions ended up being one-dimensional in the dimension they didn't want to participate in, which was the passing game.
Yeah.
But that was by design for the Cowboys and Dan Quinn. And then they went out and executed it and forced those mental mistakes that led to it being a completely different second half. I think when Trevon Diggs, and those are excellent plays, obviously, Micah Parsons stopping, and then DeMarcus Lawrence. But I have to go back to a play like Trevon Diggs. I have to go back to Sam Williams in the fourth quarter. Those are heartbreaking plays for the Detroit Lions.
Absolutely.
And a quarterback in Jared Goff who has shown that once he starts to get down on himself, once he makes one mistake,
it snowballs.
The compound.
Right. One thread comes out, and then another, and all of a sudden the yarn ball is all over the floor, and the Cats can play.
I forgot about one play. And the one play is a play that didn't take place that we saw from Cooper Rush against the Washington Commanders for the most part, and then it showed back up against Philly. And that was errant throws by Dak Prescott.
Okay.
And he admitted it. He admitted in the post-game interviews, he said, I was overly confident in some of my throws. And they pulled him back. They pulled the reins back.
First half.
It was in the first half. Yep. That interception, that should have been an interception when he threw it into triple coverage, that would have changed the landscape of the game too. So that's what I think about those three plays in particular. Had those plays went down the way that most players would have taken advantage of those plays, this is a totally different game. And I don't like the way, had the Lions been enabled to stay with their game plan, I have zero confidence that Dallas on the defensive side was able to stop their rushing attack because we didn't see it. So that's back-to-back weeks we've seen now where teams where you could call it bend but don't break all you want to, but the reality these guys are running the ball on the ground.
I think it was the ultimate bend but don't break because you went all the way down to the half-yard line on that drive specifically because that drive was the worst drive defensively of the entire game. It was I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'll find it when we come back from break. But it was double-digit yardage. A lot of that, or double-digit plays, a lot of that yardage came from the ground. They ran the ball. They went back to their great game plan. They were physical. They were up front. And they went all the way down the field.
They ran a heck of a screenplay.
Ran a great screenplay, and then it was flubbed at the end.
Yeah.
But you also, that's the thing is, that's just two phenomenal plays from two of your best players. That's the bend, but you just don't actually break. You went all the way up to the top. I've got this little coffee stick. You went all the way up to the edge here.
You didn't.
And you didn't actually break.
Snap. And going back to Dak Prescott, and we'll dive more so here shortly into Dak Prescott's return.
Sure.
But with Dak, you knew that, and we talked about it before the game. If he sees a particular throw, he's going to pull the trigger. That's something that Cooper Rush may not have done. Now, you take the good with the bad. So he dodged a bullet with that dropped interception and triple coverage. But
that was a matrix dodge.
But not long. Fair. That was full Neo out. He went full Neo against Mr. Anderson. But not long before that, he completes that ball in triple coverage to CeeDee Lamb for the first down, which then gets the face mask swipe from CeeDee Lamb. So that the pass to Lamb showed me and reminded him that, hey, I can make this throw.
Yeah.
It's on that particular one, It almost didn't work out. It turned out to be an incompletion. Could have been an interception.
They completely changed the game plan after those throws. Completely changed the game plan after those throws.
I could kind of see that. I think it more so that was one of the mental turning points for them to say, okay, let's kind of scale back and get back to the run game. But what was a hint that was going to potentially happen was it wasn't sailed, but his first play from scrimmage was a little high.
The Noah Brown. It was on the back shoulder, Noah Brown.
Right, catchable.
Behind him. It's a hard, tough catch.
My first
catchable.
It's anything.
First note on my all-22 notepad says Dak misses his quote-unquote get comfortable throw because that's what it was. Yeah. He was wide open over the middle. He had plenty of green, and he could have just thrown it to him, and he put it on the back shoulder.
And he said he expected the tight end to be released out there as well, but the tight end got caught up in traffic. So, but nonetheless, that's a ball.
It's a bad ball. Those ones don't bother me that much because I expected that rust.
Yeah,
I expected that rust. Like those back shoulder throws that should have been on the front shoulder.
There were a couple of them.
Right, could be tips and overthrows. Got to get those type of scenarios right. I expected those because of timing. Right, and the speed of the game, and he has to get back adjusted to those things. Bad decisions in terms of throwing it up there to triple coverage. Those are, and he already admitted it. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that because if that takes place, and if that tight end just like any other human being in the world extends the ball across the goal line, that game's flipped.
Yeah, but you know what I did see from Dak, and let's make sure that we're keeping the energy, right? So, yes, Dak had a little bit of a leprechaun on his shoulder last night. It was a small leprechaun.
He came back.
Yeah,
it hopped off of Cooper Rush's shoulder and went on Dak's shoulder.
The one on Dak's shoulder yesterday was small because he had the one dropped interception. Cooper's was almost his height. By the end of it all, Cooper's was about 6 feet tall. But, and we gave the roses to Cooper Rush, and we'll continue to do so for what he was able to do. But all in all, for those that are saying, and this is what bothers me, and you guys aren't saying it, but what I saw on Twitter is Dak had a bad game. No, he didn't have a bad game. And if you go and you look at some of the advanced stats and some of the advanced metrics, he actually had a better game than 3 of the 4 Cooper Rush wins, I would say. Because, for example, his average air yards last night was just under 11. I think I read it was 10.8 yards per attempt. And for those that need just a bit of clarity, it is exactly what it sounds like. When Dak Prescott throws the ball, what's the distance that the ball is in the air before it hits the target? So that's pre-yak, okay? The most Cooper Rush had throughout his stint with as a starter was, I think, like 8.7 or something like that. So
I'm not comparing that.
No, I know you're not. Yeah. This is clarity for those that are saying Dak had a bad game.
He threw the ball. He has 76% completion rate. I mean, he just has. You can't say
also
a quarterback
highest passer rating this season.
I mean, listen, Dak didn't have a game that any of us expected him to have against the worst defense in the league. I don't think any of us did. No. But it doesn't matter because they ran the ball effectively.
Right.
So that's where the benefit was. These guys ran the ball for an average of 4.3 yards per gain. TP balled out, Zeke balled out. The offensive line got some movement up there. Dallas had to really cut back again on their scheme, and I think that was Mike McCarthy. And maybe we'll talk about this later. Mike McCarthy really came in there, and for the first time that I've seen with my own eyes,
with your eyes,
with my eyes, okay, in my eyeball, okay, told Kellen Moore no. For the first time, maybe it's happened before. I'm sure it's happened before, but the first time that I have visually seen it, what will happen? They were about to go for it on 4th down. They lined up. He didn't like the look. He said no.
Timeout.
Field goal. Kick the field goal. You had a chance. I gave you a chance.
And the 3rd and 1s weren't going so well.
Yeah, I gave you a chance, right? I didn't like what you were doing. Nah, we're doing it my way. And after that, and after some of those errant throws by Dak, what did you see with the passes? You didn't see much down the field no more, did you? You didn't see them launches. What did you start seeing? Crossing routes, short slants, all that stuff underneath, right? They said, hey, let's give him some stuff that he can be confident with. Let's build him up. Let's not start taking shots down the field and rolling the dice and testing out that doggone little leprechaun.
But you know what was perfect? we sat here last week, and how many throws did you and I, but we said the same number. How many throws did you and I both say we wanted to see from Dak? No more, give or take, and the Cowboys would win this game.
Yeah, 25.
25. That's right there.
How many did he throw?
25.
Cowboys won?
Yeah. He won.
All right.
Yeah. There you go. I completely agree. Places to improve upon is certain. They're there.
Yeah,
They've got ways to improve. There are always ways to improve, like you said. But you can't say Dak Prescott had a bad game.
No.
That's not the case. No. He didn't throw an interception.
Yeah.
He only had 6 incompletions. And we're even getting nitpicky by talking about the 6 incompletions. But that's how Cowboys Nation is.
That's what we do.
So there's ways for him to improve. There's ways for him to play better. That will come hopefully down the line. But when we come back, I want to talk about a little bit more of what you were just talking about, the play calling and the balance of this offense. Did we finally see a blueprint in a good way on how to get this offense going consistently down the stretch? And then in a little bit, we're going to talk a little bit more about that defense and how they were balling out yesterday. When we come back with more Talkin' Cowboys presented by Black Rifle Coffee.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Home Ownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Lil Sweet! Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Lil Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is. It's a non-fungible token.
Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Are you ready to take coffee off your grocery list forever? Black Rifle Coffee Club is here to help. As a coffee club member, you'll get your favorite coffees roasted, packaged, and shipped to your door free of charge on your preferred schedule. Set it, forget it, and never run low on coffee again. Members also get exclusive deals on coffee, products, and discounts from partner brands. Ease your mind and let Black Rifle worry about your coffee supply. Go to blackriflecoffee.com to join the coffee club today.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
If you're a fan of live music, head to the Star in Frisco on Wednesday, October 26th. That's this Wednesday for a brand new monthly concert series, Sounds of the Star, featuring the spectacular Southern soul band Prophets and Outlaws. The concert kicks off at 7 p.m. and is free and open to the public. For more information, you can go visit thestarinfrisco.com. Come out here. Come to the Star.
Come on out.
I'll be out there.
Come on out, buddy.
Go watch a little extra music. I'll go to...
You're a music buff. You like concerts.
I love music, man. That's like my go-to outside of sports, because I
love music, but I don't love concerts.
See, I love concerts. I love music. I love new music.
Is half the fun because you get the energy. You get the energy and the atmosphere that you don't necessarily.
I feel like most people do too much at concerts
from the headphone.
What do you mean?
Well, what concerts are you going to?
They just do too much. And most of the time, I listen to music without the cursing, so I just can't do the. I just can't do it. It's too much for me.
Yeah.
I got virgin ears.
Just like do this. Like,
I got
every
exactly. It's just too much.
Plug and go. You got to listen to the same.
Fingers.
You got to listen to the same music I listen to, because I don't really have a whole lot of
I listen to
cussing.
gospel. All right.
Okay.
And this hip hop. It's not even hip hop anymore. I can't. I saw something from Wiz Khalifa this morning. I was just like, bro, what are you even talking about?
I feel like this is a bye-week conversation on whether or not hip hop is still hip hop.
No, it's not. It's trash now.
By the way, the Cowboys yesterday recorded 5 takeaways in the second half.
Woo!
Second half.
Let that man
In 2 quarters, they had 5 takeaways. The last time the Cowboys had 5 takeaways in a single half, if you're a Cowboys fan, you might know this. Super Bowl against Buffalo in 1993.
That was
the last time.
How old were you, Kyle?
1993. You do not want to know. My parents weren't even married yet. Let's say that. They may not have even met by that point.
You were still in your faja.
Yeah, maybe. I don't even think I was there yet. But yeah, back against the Buffalo Bills in Super Bowl in 93. By the way, the drive that ended with that Williams fumble, our friend Mario did the work for me on Twitter, and he tagged us in it. 12 plays, 79 yards, got him all the way down inside the 1-yard line. Out of those 12 plays, 8 of them were rushing attempts with a long of 20, 55 total yards on the ground, and they had 3 third down conversions. 2 of them were 13 and of 19 yards. So shout out to Mario for doing the extra work there and getting that information to us, because that was the drive that was the ultimate game changer.
It was a great drive for them. Yeah,
whoever won that drive had a really good shot to win that football game.
Facts, I agree.
And the Cowboys won that drive.
Yes, they did.
Late,
Yeah. Yep.
because they had the great play from Micah Parsons to stop.
D-Law.
To stop at the 1 yard line, and then D-Law right after that with the 3 plays, or taking on 3 guys at the goal line to force the fumble. So really, that was the game changer. But I want to go back to the play calling, because that was a huge storyline going into it. Were you guys okay with the play calling throughout the ball game? I thought there was a lot left on the table, especially on third downs. Third downs were really tough on a couple of occasions.
Mostly, yes. But if you go into the micro, there were most certainly instances where I would have preferred to see something different. For example, one of the 3rd and 1s where it was Ezekiel Elliott going out to the edge, and I tweeted this at the time, my preference is, if you're going to make that play, if that's going to be the play call, then that needs to be Tony Pollard in space, not Ezekiel Elliott. And if it is going to be Ezekiel Elliott taking that handoff, then it needs to be straight up the gut and punch them in the mouth and challenge them to stop you there. That's just, for me, it's just a better personnel fit, knowing who's better in space. And then we saw another 3rd and 1.
Reverse!
Yeah. Cowboys got cute. Cowboys got cute on that. And it was a game that we knew would be physical, because the Lions would try to out-physical the Cowboys. So the Cowboys needed to out-physical the Lions, as opposed to trying to pull out finesse after you've seen some of these power runs work with Ezekiel Elliott, and you've seen the tandem between he and Tony Pollard be effective, and then you're like, hey, let's get fancy. You don't always have to break out the doilies for visitors, okay? Sometimes you just need to give them the grilled cheese sandwich and tell them to shove it down their throat. So those 2 3rd and 1s over the course of the first half, they helped the Lions gain confidence.
Yeah.
And they helped the Lions feel like, hey, we can walk away with this win. And ultimately, that's what made it more difficult for the Cowboys in the first half. And then it took after halftime for them to really start just slapping the Lions around, and then the Lions start to begin to unravel on both sides of the ball. But yeah, in the first half, particularly those first 2 3rd and 1s, that left, like you said, some meat on the bone.
As my mother would tell my children, her grandchildren, is, I think Coach McCarthy spanked Kellen Moore's pow pow.
The pow pow.
I was wondering where that was going.
I think that Kellen Moore was trying to get cute, and Kellen Moore was trying to take some shots that Coach McCarthy was uncomfortable with, and I think he spanked his pow pow. I think he got sent to the principal's office a little bit, and I believe that Coach McCarthy really stepped up. Yeah, the ruler, bro.
You got the ruler?
Yeah, pow pow. And that good. The ones that make you take your cheeks. You know what I'm saying?
You know.
Yeah, the ones
we're
that
showing our age now.
So I think that Kellen Moore was like, my guy's back. Let's do this. And Coach McCarthy was like, nah, chill out.
Well, he gave him an opportunity on the 4th down.
He did.
He said, trot him out there.
And then what happened?
Let's see what happens.
He stepped forward. He said,
and burn
nah, I'm burning the timeout. I don't like it. Send out my unit.
You want to come to the press conference with me today and ask Kellen about it?
If he got his pow spanked?
I don't know if I would phrase it that way.
I would. But that's why I'm not in that room, though.
That's why they don't give you that credential.
I'll ask him in the hallways.
I'm not calling another man delicious, and I'm not asking another man if he
got his pow spanked.
Those 2 things.
Who are you calling delicious?
Yeah, where did that come from?
Oh, that's Cedric the Entertainer. You know that.
Hey, delicious.
Come on, Cedric the Entertainer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it kind of harkens back to what Mike McCarthy said after the Week 1 loss against Tampa Bay, and I think McCarthy has been hell bent on making sure that line is told. In that, the Cowboys' offense needs to be quote unquote smarter in certain situations, and I think that's a situation where it's 4th and 1, and he had already seen, Mike McCarthy had already seen a couple of questionable play calls on 3rd and 1, and then he saw the lineup or the setup, the scheme, and the personnel, and he was like, you know what? It's not even worth the risk. I'll burn this time out. I'll eat it. Now, truthfully, you could have just tried to draw him off sides sent the call in to Dax Hellman and said, just try to draw them off sides because you're already on the field. And just take the delay of game because this 5 yards isn't going to make or break this field goal, and you could have kept the timeout.
The one thing I thought about that too, but going back and looking at it, they were inside the 10, weren't they?
Yeah,
I mean they were. So even then, it's half the distance. So I don't think an offsides penalty would have given them the first down. So I think it was kind of a moot point there too.
But to Isaiah's point, McCarthy looked at it and said, you know what? We got to be smarter.
No thanks.
And these are the situations that I was talking about. So no. So be it some pow spankage or a simple veto, it came down from McCarthy, and the Cowboys went ahead and took that field goal, and they got the points. And at that point, it was needed because the offense just could not punch it into the end zone at that point.
Yeah, they were at the 3-yard line, and it was 3rd and 2. So even if they get half the distance, it's only 1.5 yards. Right. So it would have been 4th and inches then. So, yeah, probably not.
Just that it would have saved you the timeout.
It would have saved you something, yeah. The timeout specifically would have been the way to do it.
It's kind of crazy, the comparison between these statistics. I'm not a big stats guy, but because it doesn't tell the entire story. Well, it adds value to your point. It's just part of the science. Yeah, so
film matters.
But you look at it, first downs, Detroit had 18, Dallas had 21. Detroit has 6 rushing first downs, Dallas had 8. Detroit had 11 first downs by passing. Dallas had 10. Dallas had 3 first downs by penalty. Detroit had 1. Third downs, they were both 33% on third down. Mm-hmm. The difference is Detroit got to the red zone once. Dallas went there 4 times and was 75%. You look at their total yardage was very similar. You got 312 by Detroit, 330 by Dallas. You got passing attempts, 20. They went 21 for 26. Dallas went 19 for 25. It's just crazy. You just look across the board, man. Statistically, penalties, Lions had 8 for 59. Dallas had 7 for 55. It really comes down to just that turnover margin right there in that second half, right? You start looking at that really the fourth quarter. They had 4 fumbles. 3 of them got lost. Dallas had 2 fumbles. 1 of them got lost.
This is the exact reason that the reason they defeated the Lions takeaway margin
and lost time of possession
was the reason they lost to the Eagles. Takeaway margin was in the Eagles' favor. Mm-hmm. This is how you win games in the NFL. You take the ball away, but more importantly, you capitalize off of that.
That's the biggest thing. You have to capitalize off of those opportunities. There were missed opportunities for the Cowboys in the Eagles game, just as much as there were missed opportunities for the Lions in this game moving forward.
Do you feel? That's the best way I can say this.
Do you want to think about it?
Here, let's come back.
Okay, you want to come back to it? Whatever Isaiah's thinking, that's what we're going to tease heading into this final break. When we come back with more Talking Cowboys right after this.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Black Rifle Coffee Company serves premium coffee to people who love America. When you drink Black Rifle Coffee, you are directly supporting veterans, law enforcement, and first responders in your community. Black Rifle's expert roasters love coffee almost as much as Texas loves football, so it makes sense that America's Coffee partnered with America's team. Go online at blackriflecoffee.com and fuel up with the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. That's blackriflecoffee.com to fuel up today.
Lil Sweet! Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Lil Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is. It's a non-fungible token.
Everyone's on something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys? Jack Black.
Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Back here on Talkin' Cowboys, where, by the way, you can head to AT&T Stadium coming up this Saturday, October 29th, and experience Rally Day presented by SeatGeek. Get ready to cheer on your Dallas Cowboys against those Chicago Bears with tours of AT&T Stadium, ticket giveaways, games, inflatables, and a whole lot more. Visit attstadium.com/rallydays for tickets and for more information. Back here on Talkin' Cowboys, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys, with Chris Beam, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Nosey Walker. I'm Kyle Yeomans. All right, Isaiah, you had a question you wanted to pose. We didn't talk about it in the break.
Yeah. You got it. Yeah, I got it. So the game obviously turned right there in the fourth quarter, but I just want to know, Cowboys Nation, and we can talk about it tomorrow when everybody starts calling in. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like there should have been a greater margin of victory, being that Dallas undoubtedly has a greater disparity in talent level? Dallas has far more talent, offensively and defensively, than Detroit does. Far more tenured coaching staff. Do you feel like there should have been? I mean, our predictions. I know my prediction was a greater margin of victory.
Mine was 33 or 32 to 13. So what is that?
So I mean,
well, this was close. Mine was 27-10. So
okay, you were close. Yeah, you were close to everybody.
Yeah, so his was 17. They won by 18.
Yeah, I had them destroying these guys. Yeah, so I mean, I just asked that question because we all said that Dallas was going to win. We all felt like they were going to win by a good margin. But do you feel like this is like, I don't know, I just feel like you're playing like you're in freaking AAU basketball and you're playing against the rec league, and I just felt like you should have beat them more handily. You know what I mean?
So to answer your question, yes, they should have. The reason they didn't was because the offense couldn't get going in the first half. Offense didn't get going into the second half, which was, to complement what the defense was doing with the 5 takeaways. So yes, they should have absolutely just walked the dog against the Detroit Lions yesterday. That is true, and that goes to your overarching point as far as improvements need to be made. Absolutely. I mean, we're coming out of Week 7, still a lot of football to be played. The improvements need to be made, but there's a lot of time to continue to make those improvements. My thing is never apologize for a win.
No.
Because whatever energy you choose to have, and I say you, but I'm speaking generally to the listeners as well. Whatever energy you choose to have about the Cowboys, make sure you keep that energy with other teams. Example, the New York Giants they were 1 yard away from losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars. For those that didn't see the end of that game, go watch the end of that game. And Trevor Lawrence almost did it.
That felt like Tennessee Rams Super Bowl.
He almost did it. So here's the thing. The Giants now, as they sit at 6-1, everybody's like, oh, the Giants are real and Brian Daboll is wonderful. Wonderful. Of their 6 wins, none of their victories are greater than 8 points, and most of their victories are, look at this, 6, 4, 5, 8, 3, and 1. Go and look at the Philadelphia Eagles, right? They're undefeated, 6-0. But they've only broken the 30-point margin once in their victories, and their victories look almost similar to the Giants. A little bit of a discrepancy there as far as the point differential, but they're not blowing teams out either. So, but you hear the Eagles, they're dominant. They're the best team in the NFC. You hear the Giants, oh my God, they're 6-1. They're the real deal. But then it comes to the Cowboys, and the Cowboys beat the Lions by a sizable margin. They didn't blow them out, but a sizable margin. And we're having the conversation of,
was it enough?
Was it enough?
Well, I think that question gets posed, though.
Don't apologize for the win.
No.
If we're going to keep the energy, if we're going to say the Giants are this and the Eagles are this, and we're not saying overlook the improvements that need to be made by the Cowboys and the mistakes that were made that shouldn't have been made, and the 3rd-and-1 calls and the drops by Noah Brown and a couple of passes from Dak Prescott.
I think the question,
they handled business in the end.
I think the question is posed. I mean, nobody's apologizing for the win. You got the dub.
Oh, don't
right?
say
That's number
nobody.
one.
Say you.
No.
Because,
me. Okay. Yeah. There we go. I can't speak for everybody. I'm not apologizing for the win.
Mentions.
I am happy.
There you
I'm
go.
pleased.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm pleased that Dallas won. Okay. I'm pleased that Dallas Cowboys won. I'm not
go.
pleased how they won. Right. As a competitor, I don't think that they that they handled the Detroit Lions the way in which they should have, right? But ultimately, you got the W. So as a coach, you walk away, okay, yeah, we won, but I didn't like that, right? I just shake my hand like, oh, we got the W. We're supposed to win that game, but I don't like how we did it. Right. I don't like how we went about our business, okay? Fourth quarter, that's how I want us to go about our business, but that's not the game plan they came in with. We got some things we got to tidy up, okay? Fair. That's my outlook on it. True. However, I lost my doggone train of thought. The Dallas, I lost my train of thought.
I can get you back, I think, because you go back to last year.
Oh, that's what I said. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Last year, the offense, we were top of the league.
Yep.
What did we lose?
I mean, offensively.
Amari Cooper. Yeah, you lost Cooper, but you have CeeDee Lamb.
And Cedric Wilson.
Okay, Cedric Wilson's returning kicks.
Well, that's because the Dolphins just aren't using him. That's not because.
But I'm saying, like, what did you lose that impact? That's going to impact
to take you from first to bottom 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the expectation, because you didn't lose anything. You lost Coop. Yeah, you lost a lot in Coop. I don't agree with that loss, but you lost a lot in Coop. But everybody has a CD. They have a CD, right? They have a CD.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're saying that CD is your guy and he's your replacement for Coop,
he's some have an 8-track.
The front office says the CD's our guy and that we don't need Coop.
Hasn't shown up yet.
In that regard, right? So that's why I think people are asking, at least why I'm asking the question, how do you go from the top of the league to the bottom of the league offensively and you didn't lose a whole lot?
Well, I'll say this. I think if Dak Prescott doesn't get injured in week 1, by now you're looking at a more prolific offense.
That's fair.
That's what I'm saying.
I can see that. Yeah. I could certainly see that. All right, time now for helmet stickers. We do it every time the Cowboys get a win. This is the 5th time this season that we've got helmet stickers. And it's the first time we're doing it without our guy, Rob P. Phillips, which is unfortunate.
Try to represent him well.
You're going to represent Rob well. Isaiah, who you got? These are our helmet stickers, our players of the game for the win over the Lions.
You see this little gentleman right here riding his bicycle? Okay, his bicycle's nice, too, and big wheels on it, okay? You see that backpack right there? Backpack. Okay, y'all see it right there? This right here is DeMarcus Lawrence. D-Law got on his bike and said, hey, fellas, hop in my backpack. I'm going to carry you guys to victory. He made a heck of a stop right there on the goal line. Had it not been for that, I think this is a totally different game. So, D-Law, way to play, big dog.
I like it. Very nicely done. D-Law.
You going next, QB1?
On the sticker. No, I'll let you go next.
All right.
I like yours next.
I'm going to go with rookie second-round pick Sam Williams. Sam, I'm going to give you a pair. You know why I'm going to give you a pair, Sam? Why I'm going to give you a pair? Because yesterday you gave the Cowboys a pair of sacks. You gave the Cowboys a multi-sack game. And you had the hat trick with the strip sack fumble. Sam Williams just absolutely balled out yesterday. So he gets the pair because he gave the Cowboys a pair. And very fun stat here. Sam Williams, and I tweeted this out yesterday, only the 4th Cowboys rookie since 1982 to record 2 sacks and a forced fumble in the game. Here are the other 3. Micah Parsons, Victor Butler, go look him up if you don't know.
Yeah, that's my dude.
And DeMarcus Ware. How's that for company?
Those are pretty good names to be
how's
with.
That for company? So, a pair for the pair of Sam Williams.
I like it. So, you guys both picked defensive players. This was a defensive football game. You picked DeMarcus Lawrence. You picked Sam Williams. Sam Williams is in company with Micah Parsons in one of those areas. That's why I'm going to go with Micah Parsons, because he showed it's not just that one's company. He continues to play well. And I picked out this little apple. It's a realistic apple. You know why?
It's like snowflake.
Apples fall from trees, right? They fall from trees. And that's kind of what it looked like whenever you're looking at the All-22 and Micah Parsons is falling off of the tree. He's falling with the gravity to catch right at the end zone, bring him right down. I like it because how about that? It came in and the apple bonked right on the head, stopped him at the 1-yard line, and then you turn around and Micah Parsons is my helmet sticker
trifecta here.
Today.
I like it.
All defensive players. It was a defensive football game.
It was. Well earned.
And there were some offensive players that probably could earn that, but they didn't.
I think it's
maybe next week.
Not today, but it's time to drop the nicknames. Maybe we do that
Start getting into there?
Maybe we do that this week.
Maybe we do. There's a whole week of preparation to be had heading into that matchup with the Chicago Bears. It's a string of NFC North matchups. 1 down, 3 to go in that division to try and run the table. But that does it for us here on Talkin' Cowboys today, presented by our friends over at Black Rifle Coffee Company. Hope you had some fun with us. We'll be back tomorrow to take your phone calls, 888-855-2297. We're going to talk to Cowboys Nation all day tomorrow. Get an extra couple calls in there. Why not? But for Patrik "No-See" Walker, for Isaiah Stanback, Chris Beam in the back, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long. Thanks for joining us on Talkin' Cowboys. We'll see you tomorrow.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!